But she doesn't even look like a fool. Ah!
Done!
Requiescat in pace.
Hey everybody out there in YouTube land, Jake of the OneManBand is back again, and welcome to another RWBY review theory. No, that's not right. No, it's not technically a theory. It's not a review. This is a character breakdown. And I know that I talked about that I would probably be doing character breakdowns of the actual team theory leading up to the new volume. But for right now, I'm going to start with something simple. I'm going to start with something new, something small. We're going to talk about the latest addition to the hostile ranks of the White Fang. We're going to talk about Ilia. Now, although she only appeared really in 2 episodes of Volume 4, maybe for a total of 7 minutes of screen time, Ilia really showed us that the White Fang really is everywhere. They have influence almost in all corners of society, and they can do almost anything. They were able to get one of their agents so close to the Belladonna household that they were able to gather information on what was going on there. It was only due to a strange set of circumstances that she was actually even caught by Sun and Blake. But before we get to the real juicy stuff that I want to talk about, we're going to talk about Ilia's potential past and how that past may be connected to Blake somehow. During their tussle, it seemed that Blake and Ilia did know each other. They knew each other by name and seemed to have some form of emotional baggage for one another. Not in a strange way, but more in like a you're an old friend kind of way. Now, during my episodic review way back then, I suggested that maybe they were both part of the White Fang together. Maybe they joined up at the same time and essentially were brought into the fold all at the same time as well. And I'm going to be sticking with that. Ilia and Blake, potentially friends since before their time in the White Fang, joined up with Adam's division of the White Fang relatively at the same time to become real important members of the White Fang. Yet, with Ilia's reptilian faunus-like nature, and due to the fact that she's able to change the skin tones of herself, that way she's able to disguise herself as well as blend in with her surroundings. We've seen her do this when she was spying on the Belladonna Manor. She had changed her skin tone to a rather dark color that she blends in with the dark background. So I think at least at one point during their training, Adam took Blake sort of to himself to kind of become his prodigy, his person that, you know, he'd pass on all of his knowledge to. You know, that whole Blake-Adam thing that was going on. Ilia, on the other hand, maybe was taken by a different section of the White Fang to join the rank of infiltrators, spies, and assassins. And I'll get to the whole assassin part later on. But she was then trained in infiltration, evasion, and espionage tactics. She would be a agent that would work relatively alone and would go into either hostile or questionable situations so that she could scout it out, gather information, and bring it back so that the White Fang can use that information to their advantage. One reason why I really believe this is that the mask that she wears before it's destroyed is completely different from any other mask we have seen. It's different from Adam's, it's different from the White Fang Grunts, and it's different from the White Fang Lieutenant's mask. So it appears that it all depends on what mask you are wearing. That defines not only what rank you are, but possibly what class you are in the White Fang. So for the White Fang, it's real easy to figure out, oh, well, that person's special forces, that person's a grunt, that person's a lieutenant, and so forth. Now, although Ilia was trained in basic combat, I believe that she's more of a evasion type specialist. She isn't meant for prolonged fights. We can see that by the way she does her best to try to avoid a fight when Blake and Sun go after her. She tries to escape rather than fight. She's the type of person who is better suited for escaping and living to tell the tale rather than staying and finishing out a fight. And even when she had both Blake and Sun at a disadvantage, she then again decided to retreat. Now, of course, there could have been some form of potential, you know, brotherhood, old brotherhood, sisterhood type feelings that Ilia had for Blake at the time. That's why she didn't maybe kill Blake, because she was right there, but she still up and ran away. And you see, I believe that was all part of her training and this sort of special forces espionage group that Ilia is probably a part of. Now, although Ilia and Blake were brought into the White Fang relatively at the same time, since Ilia was taken away and kind of nurtured into being this secret agent of the White Fang, if you will, she essentially drank way more of the Kool-Aid than Blake would have. Ilia isn't on the front lines, and she wasn't really seeing the brutality of what some of the White Fang were doing. She was probably either being a solo agent, maybe working as a team of two in certain situations, and probably only hearing and reading White Fang propaganda. Ilia full-on drank the Kool-Aid of the White Fang and became 100% dedicated to their cause. Blake, on the other hand, started to see the beast that Adam was turning into and decided to turn her back on the White Fang and become a huntress. Flash forward all the way to Volume 4, and Ilia is tasked by Adam Torres to go to the Belladonna Manor and scope out the area, spy. Since Adam is still relatively in the Kingdom of Vale, you know, working on things there, he can't full-blown drop whatever he's doing and go after Blake. As much as he wants to, he's still in a leadership role, and he knows that he needs to be there for his people. Ilia, now being a high-ranking member of the Special Forces group, automatically agrees because he is a higher up on the food chain, and maybe she is now working directly under Adam. We are not exactly sure. All that we know is that she has ties to both Adam and the Fox brothers that informed Adam of Blake's whereabouts. So are they freaking loyal to Adam, or are they loyal to CL Khan? We're not entirely sure yet. Now, the reason why Ilia is so high up on the food chain is that when Blake was able to get Ilia's scroll during their tussle, they were able, you know, Gira was able to get all that secret information off of it magically, but I'm not talking about the convenience of that right now. He was able to get the information off of the scroll and was able to figure out what exactly was going to happen. You know, Adam's plan to take down and take over the White Fang. And so this is why I believe Ilia not only is high up on the food chain, but also reports directly to Adam. She is loyal to him, not really to CL Khan anymore. Now, I know some of you guys are probably asking, Jake, you're saying all this stuff, but what makes you think that she's an assassin? She hasn't really shown to have any sort of assassin traits. Well, we have to remember that when Blake was telling Sun about her past with the White Fang, and when Weiss talks about how the White Fang treated the Schnee Dust Company, it has been stated that there has been assassinations. Assassinations have happened to high-ranking members of the Schnee Dust Company. So we know that assassins in the White Fang exist. But there's something that I want you guys to look at about Ilia that pretty much prongs her as being an assassin. Her weapon. If we look at this weapon, we can see it's some sort of revolver, like dust revolvers, a lot like Weiss's weapon, but it's some sort of extending piercing drill type weapon. Very, very strange. We've never seen a weapon like this before, and we've seen what devastating effects it has on somebody due to the fact that it was able to hurt Sun so much. Now, originally, we thought, oh, well, Sun's semblance was down, so no wonder why it hurt him. But I'm coming at you guys today saying that is wrong. Sun's semblance, Sun's aura was not down. As we've seen, every single time we've seen an aura be completely depleted from someone, it looks as if it's cracking and then it disappears. We've seen it with Pyrrha, we've seen it with RWBY, we've seen it with Crow. All the time, every single time an aura has gone completely down, we have seen those sort of cracks in the aura before it goes down. With Sun, it just sort of drained off of him. The aura around him just sort of drained down. The aura that appears whenever he activates his semblance. That light around him going down was him simply shutting off his semblance. He still had plenty of aura, and even though he did, he was still able to be taken out with that one hit. Why, you ask? I'm probably talking crazy right now. Once again, let's take a look at that weapon. Remember, it is a piercing drill type weapon, and it uses a yellow form of dust, a form of dust that we haven't seen before. I believe that this is a specially made weapon, for the White Fang assassins to use against people who generate an aura. Aura-wise people. This weapon is able to not only take down a person's aura, but is able to pierce straight past a person's aura using both the drilling mechanism and possibly the dust that it uses. It's able to go past someone's aura and attack their body directly. So even if some higher up is trained in aura, this guarantees that the assassin will score the kill. And that's why I think Ilia is more dangerous than possibly anyone out there. She may, in fact, possess a weapon that can bypass anyone's aura. And although, remember, there are many, many different types of dust, and depending on how you combined it, and if you combine it naturally or artificially, you get different types of dust. Who's to say that there's not a type of dust that can somehow either penetrate or negate a person's aura? We don't know. As far as we know, this is the most deadly weapon we have seen in the hands of anyone on the face of Remnant. Now, as for Ilia's future role in RWBY as a whole, she may be someone who's going to shadow Blake as she goes to Mistral. She may, follow her, keep in the shadows, and continue to keep an eye on her. I believe that Ilia, as much as the show is sort of becoming inflated with characters, I think Ilia has the potential of being a really key character, just due to the fact of the position that she has in the White Fang. How she seems to be a high-ranking assassin, espionage type character. And the fact that maybe our heroes will be able to capture her, maybe she'll be able to see the light after a talk with Blake and actually turn against the White Fang, or maybe she's just going to be a really difficult obstacle to get past to actually take down the White Fang and being able to reforge it into what it truly needs to be. Now, one of the last things I want to bring up is the fact that it seems that in her natural state, Ilia has almost silver eyes. Is it a possibility that she is a silver-eyed warrior? In my opinion, no, I do not believe so. I believe her being a silver-eyed warrior would just kind of be too convenient, and two, it just seems that it would be just out of nowhere. Like, there's this random silver-eyed warrior just out there when we're still trying to get our main silver-eyed warrior to actually do something with her powers. So, the concept of her being a silver-eyed warrior, I do not believe is actually true. On the RWBY wiki, it states that her eye color is gray. So, take that with that what you will. But hey, those are just my thoughts, and the real question is, what do you guys think? Hey everybody out there in YouTube land, thanks for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this short little character breakdown of, Ilia. She's a really cool character. I mean, looking back, hopefully they make her character more cool and better than what she is right now. I'm hoping and praying. But until next time, I want you guys to like and favorite if you've enjoyed. Subscribe, of course, if you feel inclined to. Check out some links down below, taking you to my Twitter page, my Patreon page. If you want to support me on Patreon, that would be a lot of help. Big thanks to all my Patreon sponsors, by the way. And until next time, my friends, I want you to be a good person, tip your waitresses, keep moving forward, and I'll see you guys next time I'm out there in YouTube land. I'll see you then. Yeah.